Right now I'm really scared because there's a new report that came out last week, a joint effort by the Chamber of Commerce and the Center for American Progress, which is supposed to be a progressive institute. It's a bunch of old Clinton people. And I'll show you the opening words that are set off in text in an overhead. But now you have an alliance, and they've been taken to task in emails about teaming up with the Chamber. And John Podesta says, we may be mistaken in trying to find common ground with people with whom we disagree, namely the Chamber of Commerce, but we are not naive. Well, I think naive would be a compliment right now because you've had it for a couple of years now, an alliance between the Education Trust and the Business Roundtable. Now you've got one between the CAP and the Chamber of Commerce. And I was told by a reporter for a national newspaper that he thinks this report may have more sticking power than most because he understands that the Chamber is going to push it hard on their local chapters to play it up, which will be a disaster. Bush and Spelling said they were going to push for reauthorization. Miller is going to. I don't know where Kennedy is now. He kind of sold out. He went along with it initially because he was able to take out the voucher provision and put in supplemental educational services, which just made the whole program that much more illogical because at the end of 2 years you have choice, and at the end of 3 years then you're going to give the failing schools extra help, which doesn't make any sense at all in terms of sequencing. But there are people who are saying it will not get reauthorized until 2009 because there are too many details. People are just thinking, I think, of the testing program as No Child Left Behind, and maybe the highly qualified teacher, but there are dozens of things in there. Like, some people are still very much upset about the provisions that let military recruiters have access to high school juniors and seniors' addresses and telephone numbers. Well, if you're going to get into all that, that takes time. And some people believe, and I don't know enough to know who's going to be right about this, that it won't happen this year, and surely nobody's going to touch it in an election year. And so it won't be until after the election in 2008 that it comes up for full reauthorization. I kind of hope that's right because 2 more years of it like it is will show everybody what a disaster it is. And then it might be, ripe for a revision. Although it didn't come, No Child Left Behind didn't come out of thin air. I was put onto, this is naivete on my part, a lack of historical knowledge. A 1992 Chapter 1 commission for the authorization that was coming up in that year. And the commission report really gives you the outlines of No Child Left Behind. Adequate progress is in there. Choice to leave failing schools is in. They're not spelled out explicitly the way they are in No Child Left Behind. But the saving grace from the 92 report was when they talked about testing, they said we got to get away from this narrow testing, which would be Iowa Test of Basic Skills or CTB's products, and get onto, they were very high on performance assessment and portfolios and other kinds of authentic assessment. But of course that's gone by the wayside now. I don't know how you mount a counter force that's equivalent. There was one that started here that's still going. Alex Molnar, when Alex was here on the faculty, put together a group, I forgot what we were called then. When he went out to Arizona State, he changed our name. But I came here for the first meeting, and I thought, this is never going to work. Because all of the people here in this room today have very busy lives. They're mostly very well-known academics around the country, and they're not going to be able to give the time to this. What happens, the asymmetry of this is that the right has lots of money, and they fund these guys to put out this stuff, and nobody's really funding us very much at all. I also get depressed because people who should know better also buy into this negative view. Back in 2004, when the Democrats were still looking for a candidate, there was only one who attacked No Child Left Behind conceptually, and that was John Dean. Everybody else just wanted full funding. Well, that program is going to be a disaster no matter how much money you throw into it. And I've heard, Nancy Pelosi and a couple of other people say the same thing after this year's election. We've been sold a bill of goods. Back in the 60s, which few of you may be old enough to remember, we used to talk about the veil of mystification. That's what has been pulled over, is this veil of mystification.